No, I'm gonna do my best. Okay. Okay. Again, I'm not sure to do it, but I'm gonna do my best. It's on my list of things to do. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, okay.
Would you agree with me? All right. County Superior Court, in county session, Honorable Judge Gregory A. Adams presiding.
Hi, good morning. You may be seated. Is the state ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense ready?
Yes, sir.
Is the rabbi here?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Let's go ahead and bring it. I'm sorry, you need to find out.
I was just asking the deputy if it was okay to leave that briefcase on.
Yeah, that's fine, that's fine.
That's fine. Thank you, Ms. Beecher. You may bring him in. And Mr. TV person, did you get what you needed about your microphone?
Yes, sir, thank you.
We're on? Okay, you're good. All right, everybody set. And Mr. Chalmers, could you invite the rabbi back in since you're going out? Could you invite the rabbi?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, Rabbi Minkovic. You can come on up, sir. When the deputy returns here, we'll swear you in. Thank you for your patience. No problem. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Come on in, make yourself comfortable. You may be seated in any seat. Come on in, ladies and gentlemen, make yourself comfortable. You may be seated in any seat. Come on in, ladies and gentlemen, make yourself comfortable. You may be seated in any seat. Come on in, make yourself comfortable. You can always find your favorite seat. Sit where you want to sit. Come on in, ladies and gentlemen, make yourself comfortable. Come on in, ladies and gentlemen, make yourself comfortable. Our lawyers and parties, you may be seated. Deputy Garrett, if you would swear in Rabbi Minkovic again, please.
Raise your right hand, you solemnly swear affirm that the testimony that I give you is true, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes. Please stay, let's go. You may put it right.
My name is Hirsch, H-I-R-S-C-H, Minkowitz, M-I-N-K-O-W-I-C-Z.
Mr. Clegg, you may continue, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Rabbi, yesterday we were asking questions about how you became initially involved in contacting with Andrea Sneiderman. Do you recall what was your original intent, or why did you go over to her house on the 19th of November of 2010, sir?
To provide support to her children, and to her nieces, to be able to try to talk to them about the situation and bring some sort of comfort and support.
During the course of your testimony yesterday, you spoke about certain attempts you had made to keep the case in the public eye or disseminate information to the press. Were you also, during that period of time, trying to provide support to Mrs. Sneiderman and her family?
Oh yeah, extensively.
Can you tell us a little bit about what exactly you were doing in that regard, sir?
With regard to her children, I was trying to help her.
Okay, as to her. I have no objection. I'm not going to tell us a little bit about what exactly you were doing in that regard, sir.
With regard to her children, I was trying to help her.
Okay, as to her. I have no objection. I'm not going to get into the children. I would try to ask him what support he was trying to provide to her, Your Honor.
And my objection is relevance. I don't understand why him providing support to her is relevant to anything in the indictment.
Mr. Clay, response, sir?
Your Honor, in light of the nature of the state's allegations, especially in light of the allegation that Mrs. Sneiderman somehow knew in advance that her husband was going to be killed, her emotional state and the support she received from individuals after the fact regarding that emotional state would tend to refute the allegation that the state is contending that she somehow had advanced knowledge of the impending death of her husband.
Mr. James, response?
Well, half of that is true. Her emotional state, I believe, would be relevant. We've heard quite a bit about her emotional state. However, what he did with her after the fact, I don't understand how that would be relevant to anything in the indictment, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to sustain the objection. Exceptions noted.
Okay. Let me rephrase the question, sir. Did you note her emotional state in the period of time after you first came into contact with her?
Yeah.
Could you describe that emotional state for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, please, sir?
She was in a very, very, very bad state all those weeks. And continuing, it was very, very hard to bring her any kind of consolation or comfort, but I tried my best.
Okay. When you say she was in a very, very bad state, could you be more specific in describing your observations of her emotional state at that time, sir?
Overwhelming grief, constant crying, just anything that I would usually use to try to comfort someone that lost someone, just was having a hard time going over with her. It was just a very, very, very bad emotional state.
How long or how often during that period of time, and when I say that period of time, I mean from November 19th, when you first had contact with her up until the date of Hemi Newman's arrest on January the 4th of 2011, how often did you have contact with her, sir?
Oh, I can't even count. I don't know, probably like 20 times, 25 times. It was very often.
Okay. You have described emotional state as you observed it. Did that emotional state persist during the entirety of this time period, sir?
Yes.
Did it get better at some point the farther away it got from November 18th?
Nope, not at all.
And again, when you would have these interactions with her, would some be in person, would some be on the phone?
It would, yes, some in person and some on the phone, yes.
Were the states of mind that you have described of her more observable on the phone or in person, or can you say?
It's hard to say. Sometimes on the phone she would be crying a lot, sometimes she wouldn't be. Same thing when I was meeting with her in person, and a lot of times her mood would fluctuate. Sometimes she had some coherent moments and we were able to talk about things more coherently, and sometimes she was crying a lot. It just went up and down.
Okay. How many times would you estimate during that period of time, if you can, that you saw Andrea Sneiderman cry?
I can't count. Too much.
Okay. Now, going back to, you indicated that you had been in contact with Mark Winnie. Is that a reporter from one of the local TV stations?
Yes.
Okay. At some point, did you have occasion to come into contact with Andrea Sneiderman at or about the beginning of the year of 2011? Shortly thereafter?
Yes, yes.
Where would you have been during the, were you in town over New Year's?
I was away with my family up in north, and we came back on Sunday, which was the 2nd, I think.
Okay. Did you have contact with Mrs. Sneiderman on the 3rd?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you subsequently have occasion to see her in person on either the 3rd or the 4th?
I saw her in person 3 times on the 4th.
Okay. First off, did you have occasion to go with her to the Dunwoody Police Department on January the 4th of 2011?
Yes, I did.
Were you present in a meeting that was held between herself, Chief Grogan, and Deputy Chief Sides?
Yes, I was.
How long did that meeting take?
I don't remember exactly, but probably about an hour maybe.
Do you recall the subject of that particular meeting?
Yeah, there were several things that we discussed. There was discussion about a vigil that was coming up. There was discussion about...
Hold up a second about the vigil.
Okay.
Tell us about that, sir.
So one of the things that had been suggested in order to try to keep the story alive was to make a vigil, like a candlelight vigil, at the place where Rusty was shot.
Which would have been done
At Dunwoody Prep. And it was actually originally scheduled for January 4th, but then it ended up getting changed to January 6th. And we had gone to the police station partially to discuss with them their involvement, and the chief was going to speak over there at their vigil and things like that.
Were you, or was Andrea aware of the fact that this vigil had been planned?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And was she helping organize the vigil in question?
Very much so, yes.
Was it her intention, if you know, to be present at the vigil?
She was struggling with that because it was extremely painful for her to have to go back to Dunwoody Prep, the place where he got killed. So I think that, what I remember was that she was going back and forth. She wasn't sure 100% that if she'd have the strength to be able to go.
Okay. Is there something in the Jewish religion called a remembrance ceremony after 30 days of the death of an individual?
Yes, it's called a shloshim.
Okay. And was there such a ceremony held on behalf of Rusty Sneiderman?
There were actually two, yes.
Okay. Were you a participant or were you present at either?
I was at both.
Okay. Where, not, I don't worry about typically, but where were these particular ceremonies held?
So the first one was done literally on the 30-day mark, the 30th day after his passing, and that was done at Andrea's house. Some of her friends came over, and then they also used the computer to Skype into the family in Cleveland. That they could
Was Andrea present at that time?
Yes, she was.
Okay, and how long does such a ceremony typically take, sir?
As long as the organizer makes it happen for. This one went for probably also about an hour, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Then you made reference to a second such ceremony. When would that have been, sir?
That was at the end of January. I don't remember the exact date, maybe January 24th. It was on a Sunday, the last Sunday in January, and that was done at synagogue in Sandy Springs.
Again, would have Andrea been present at the time of the second ceremony?
Yes, she was.
And again, do you recall how long that ceremony would have taken?
That one was a little bit longer because they had a whole, that was maybe an hour and a half.
Okay. Now, going back to the subject of the meeting on January the 4th, was there anyone else present? I mean, you're there, Andrea's there, Sides is there, Grogan is there. Is anyone else present?
Her father.
Okay. Tell us about that meeting, sir.
Okay, so we had a meeting, and as I said, the one thing we talked about was the vigil and the chief and his participation and his speech and things like that. The other thing that we talked about was the fact that Andrea was wanting to know why the police wasn't giving her updates on the investigation, if there's been any progress and things of that nature. And then...
Hold up a second, let me ask you this. At this point, during the course of the meeting, did the police tell Andrea in your presence...
Objection, leading, Your Honor.
I'm going to let him finish the question.
Yes, sir.
Did they say anything about the progress that had been made in the course of the investigation?
Not that I remember.
Did they bring forth the name of any individual who had been identified as a suspect?
Your Honor,
No.
we object to leading. He's leading the witness. He's suggesting an answer and then asking the rabbi to say yes or no.
What answer does it suggest, John? Did they...
No, I'm not saying the last question that was presented. I understand the objection, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to overrule the objection. I'll let him answer that particular question.
Yes, sir.
Did they mention the name of any individual who had been developed as a suspect?
No.
Okay. Did they disclose any information to Andrea while you were present concerning the nature of the investigation and where it was going?
No, the only one thing that I remember them disclosing was that they had an investigator out of town over the holidays. That's just one thing that sticks in my head, but that's all.
Did they indicate whether any potential suspect had been communicated with?
No.
Did they ask Andrea any questions about any potential suspect during the course of that meeting on January 4th, 2011?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were asking what information they were offering. Yes, then a big chunk of the meeting was Andrea following up with them on some names that she had given them, plus some new names that she thought might be worthwhile looking into. So that was a discussion that took a big bulk of the time.
Whose names were mentioned by Andrea during the course of that meeting, sir?
So first, she gave him a couple of new names that she had thought of, and then she said she wanted to go back and revisit some old names that she had mentioned over the last, I guess the last time she met with them. She went through maybe 4 or 5 names, and she went through maybe 4 or 5 names, and then at some point, one of the names that she brought up was Mr. Newman.
Okay. At that point, when she brought up Mr. Newman's name, had the police mentioned Mr. Newman's name in that interview prior to that time?
No.
Tell us exactly what you recall her saying about Mr. Newman to the Dunwoody Police on January the 4th of 2011.
I remember her looking at her notebook and reading these names, and her voice was like calm and regular. And then when she came to the name of Hemi Newman, she became very like agitated, and she started to, like with a raised voice, and I want to know about Hemi Newman, what's going on with him, why has he not been in here to be investigated or to be interviewed? I tried calling him the morning of the murder, and he was nowhere to be found, and ever since then there's all these stories going around at work, and he's away for this, for a surgery, for a funeral. She was just going on and on with like things that she was trying to point out about why things are not making sense to her now about him and his whereabouts.
To the best of your recollection, how long did she go on about Hemi Newman?
I don't know, like 3 or 4 minutes.
Did anyone interrupt her during the course of her, I guess, rant about Hemi Newman?
Yes, the chief did.
Okay, what did the chief say at that time, sir?
First of all, he was sitting right next to me, so I could see him, and he grabbed the pad and he started making notes what she was saying about Hemi Newman. And he said, I remember him.
Sustain that objection. You want to rephrase that question?
Did the police ask any questions about Hemi Newman?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall specifically what questions they asked?
Objection,
Okay.
you're safe.
No, he can answer that one, yes or no, but he won't be able to go into the detail.
Okay, do you recall the questions they asked?
Do I recall the questions?
don't
Yes.
go into the
Okay,
specifics.
yes, I recall the questions they asked.
How many questions did they ask?
2 or 3.
Okay. Who would have actually posed those questions? Would it have been Sides, or would it have been Chief Grogan?
Grogan, Chief Grogan.
Okay. Did both of them ask questions concerning the subject of Hemi Newman, or was it simply one of them, if you recall?
I recall the chief. I don't recall specific questions that Sides asked about Hemi Newman.
Did the police convey any additional information about Hemi Newman at that time?
No.
Do you recall what time of day it would have been on the 4th of January of 2011 that this conversation with Sides and Grogan was taking place, sir?
Yeah, it had to be close to 2 o'clock on that day, on January 4th.
Okay. Did you have occasion to see Sergeant Cordolino at that time?
I don't remember, no, not that day, no.
Okay. And to the best of your recollection, did you have occasion to see Lieutenant Barnes at that time?
No.
Okay. Did you have occasion, did you then what did you guys do after leaving the Dunwoody Police Department?
I had to go off and do some other things that I was busy with, and she went her way with her father, and I only saw her later at night after Mr. Newman was arrested.
Okay. When is it that you would have seen her the evening of the 4th, sir?
I got the call from her father about 8 o'clock that the...
Okay, don't tell
Oh,
us.
sorry.
Okay.
I saw her around 8:30.
Okay. To your knowledge, had she been notified of the arrest of Hemi Newman at that time?
Yes.
Okay. Can you describe her emotional state at that time, sir?
Oh, this was a disaster. She was in the second worst state that I ever saw her, that and then January 19th.
Okay. Now, were you present when the police actually arrived at the house and advised her of the notification of Mr. Newman's arrest?
No.
Were you present in the house when she called Don and Marilyn Sneiderman?
Yes.
Okay. Could you hear at least Andrea's side of the conversation?
Yes.
Could you tell us what she said when she made the phone call?
I remember her saying, I really need to call my in-laws, and then she picked up a phone and she called them, and she started saying, when they picked up, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I don't know what to say. That's what I heard her say.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Do you believe you heard her say that more than one time?
I think she said it twice.
Did you Is there a ceremony in the Jewish religion whereby a gravestone or grave marker is placed on an individual's grave?
Yes,
When would typically that, or don't worry about typically, to your knowledge, was that done in this particular situation concerning the death of Rusty Sneiderman?
yes.
When was that done, sir?
In August of 2011, the following summer.
Would you have been in attendance at the unveiling of that particular gravestone?
Yes,
Do you recall what was inscripted on that gravestone, sir?
yes.
Objection, relevance.
Mr. Clegg?
Again, Your Honor, I believe the answer that the witness will call or will provide or show insight as to the state of mind of Mrs. Snyderman concerning both the death of her husband and her feelings towards the individual who caused her death.
Now, the question was, does he recall the inscription
The
on the
yes.
gravestone
Yes.
for Mr. Snyder? That
Yes.
was the question.
And I'm going,
And I understand, and the objection?
Relevance, Your
All
Honor.
right, sustain. You want to ask that question?
Okay.
Next question.
okay, at this time, sir, what I am going to do is, Your Honor, there have been a number of emails that have been admitted into evidence, an entire volume of them.
Yes, sir.
So I am just going to have them, I'm going to publish them, some of them that have been admitted but not actually shown to the jury at this time. And if we could, I will just do it through the rabbi.
You may. Well, obviously, I have to listen, see if they have an objection. I
I mean,
understand.
they're in evidence.
Well, I understand. I know there were volumes in front of me, so that's
Yes,
fine.
I mean, so, okay.
Are you going to mark them individual numbers or packet?
Do you have any preference if I mark them individually or if I mark them in one batch? Yes. Your Honor, in order to expedite matters, I will just mark them with one defense exhibit for the entire batch, if I might.
I have no an
Okay.
objection.
What would,
All right. Say
what
there's no
would be the
objection.
next? 35. I will
35,
mark
D 35.
Defendant's exhibit number 35. Okay. And I will ask that they be just public, do you have them queued up? Mr. Williams, if you would just begin, and I believe the first one would be dated on April the 13th of 2010. If you would cue that up, please, sir. April 15th. Okay. Is there one from April the 13th? Emails that were communicated between Mrs. Sneiderman and Mr. Newman on that document, sir. Does this appear to concern some sort of scheduling for some work-related function, sir?
Can you see on the screen?
I understand. The question was, you're asking the rabbi,
He can read it, I mean, there's no reason, it's in evidence.
right, I know that, but you're asking him, does it, I understand that, he
Okay.
can read it.
Okay, well, just read it, sir, just read it out loud. Okay, go to the top, go to the second one from the top, sir, and just read that verbatim, sir.
Okay.
It says, Hemi, do you want me to go next week to the one in South Carolina, I assume? Would that be too soon, or would it help things move along? Thanks, Andrea.
And what was the response from Mr. Newman?
I think that is too soon. I'd rather you not disappear for 3 days just as you're starting to meet people and understand what's going on. Also, your team is trained and qualified, less critical for you than it would be for others on my team. We can discuss when we meet later today.
Okay, and what date is were those emails on, sir?
April 13th, 2010.
Okay. Could we go to the next one, please? Dated April the 15th. Okay. Could you read the context First off, who is that? It's from whom to whom, sir?
It's from Andrea Sneiderman to Hemi Newman.
Okay, and could you read the actual content of the email, sir?
Yep. Hemi, I promise I will not bother you with these things going forward once I get settled in. However, I have to register my daughter for kindergarten next Thursday morning. They make a whole big thing about it here. Take your kid in, get them used to it, etc. Anyway, I want to attend your 1-1s and attend Anne's quality team biweekly. Why am I telling you all of this? You are thinking, I want to be here in person for Anne's meeting, but Suzanne's 1-1 is right before it, and the kindergarten registration is right before that. So is there a way I can call into the 1-1s with both Anil and Suzanne, and possible be on the way to the office during the one with Suzanne so that I can make it here for Anne's meeting? I just noticed that your 1-1s are usually direct calls to your office. Can you conference me in or set up a conference call? Thanks so much, Andrea.
Would you go to the next one, sir, dated, I believe, April the 19th? And again, is that from whom to whom, sir?
From Andrea Sneiderman to Hemi Newman.
And is there a date on that document, sir?
April 19th, 2010.
What is the actual content of that email, sir?
Has to blow it up. Hemi, is there any way we can do this in the morning after I get past these next few days? I'm going to try to keep to my schedule of 7:30 to 3:30 for the most part. I can definitely do it if it is the only time you have available, but if I had a choice, I would like to keep my face-to-face meetings to before 3 o'clock.
Okay. And going back to the second sentence, after I get past these next few, did you say days or weeks?
Sorry, after I get past these next few weeks.
Okay. Would you go to the, hold on a second. Would you go to the one dated Monday, April 26th at 11:43, please, sir? Okay. Do you see that, sir?
Yep.
It's from whom to whom?
From Andrea Sneiderman to Hemi Newman.
What is the date, sir?
April 26, 2010.
What is the content?
Hemi, I just wanted to thank you for including me in the QMR last Friday. That meeting really gave me a broader look at what the team is doing and what we are trying to achieve. It got me pumped up a bit. So thanks, Andrea.
Sir, to the next one, or the next one I want you to highlight is dated Wednesday, April 28th at 3:15, sir. Not sure that's the one we're looking for.
Can you see the date on it? Rep?
Yeah, it's April 28th, 1:53.
3:15.
You said that's April 28th, that's
He
one,
wants 3:15.
April 28th is,
I'm sorry.
it was April 28th, is that what you wanted to look at?
It's at 3:15. That was the one that was on the screen was not the one I was, go to the next one, please, sir. Oh, that's the one. Okay. First off, going to, is there, looking at that particular document, is there an email from Mr. Newman to a number of folks with an attachment or a copy to Mrs. Sneiderman at 3:12 in the afternoon?
Yes, on the bottom of the page.
And what does that say, sir?
It says, understood, so if everyone is okay with it, let's target Monday, May 17th. We'll fly in Sunday evening to get an early start and take the 6 p.m. flight out, so we have a full day.
And is there a subject regarding that particular email, sir?
It says regarding trip to Melbourne, May 11th.
Okay. Was there a subsequent response at 3:15 from Andrea Sneiderman to Hemi Newman?
Yes, she says, Hemi, can we please take a flight out at or after 6 on Sunday? We are going to a play earlier in the day, and I want to make sure I can get home between that and the airport. Thanks, Andrea.
Okay. Let me please go to another one dated April the 28th at 3:50. Do you see, again, is that from Andrea Sneiderman to Hemi Newman on April 28th at 3:50, sir?
Not yet.
Okay. And Again, is that the subject of the Melbourne trip to Melbourne?
It hasn't come up yet.
Yeah, it's not large enough.
I'm not sure, that's not the right document. I'm looking,
Is that the one you want?
looking at this one.
What's the date on that one? Ms. Claire? The one you want up?
Okay.
Is that the one you want, Mr. Clay?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe, sure looks like it, yes. Is there an email from Mr. Newman to Mrs. Sneiderman on April 28th at 3:49 in the afternoon, sir?
Yeah. Yeah.
And is that, again, subject trip to Melbourne?
Subject trip to Melbourne, and Mr. Newman is writing, hold on. Leave the house or leave ATL?
Okay. And what is Andrea Sneiderman's response, again, regarding the subject of trip to Melbourne?
House, I think, but I could leave straight from Midtown to Fox, probably around 4 o'clock.
Okay. Please go, sir, to an email dated May 25th, 2010 at 10:28 in the morning. So 9524 is the base number.
May 25th, Mr. Clay?
Is that up? And is that from Andrea Sneiderman to Hemi Newman on that date, sir?
Yes, it is.
And what is the subject of that particular, or content of that particular email, sir?
Hemi, I have a family commitment in the afternoon on this day. Can we meet in the morning instead? Thanks, Andrea.
Go to the email dated June the 21st, 2010 at 2:32, the Bates number 9655. Okay, again, is that from Andrea to Hemi Newman?
Yes.
What date is that, sir?
June 21st, 2010.
What is the subject, sir?
Norfolk trip.
And what is the actual content of the email?
Hemi, are there specific things that you personally want to go, are there specific things that you personally want to get out of sea in Norfolk? I am developing the agenda with Eric, and I want to be sure they satisfy your curiosities. Thanks, Andrea.
Would you go to the next page, please, which would be Bates number 9656? Is that email from Andrea Sneiderman to Hemi Newman on June 21st of 2010 at 2:37 in the afternoon, sir?
Yes.
What does it say, sir?
It's about vacation days, and it says, Hemi, how far in advance do you like to know our vacation schedules? I am thinking about taking a few days off around the July 4th, 5th holiday, but nothing is confirmed yet. Do you need this info posted somewhere, or only want to know when we leave for long periods of time?
Okay. Please go to the email dated Friday, July 16th, 2010 at 3:37. Okay. Is that email dated on July 16th at 3:37 in the afternoon of the year 2010, sir?
Yes.
And is that from Hemi Newman to Andrea Sneiderman?
Yes.
Read it over for us, please, sir.
You asked for it, so from one Excel trip planner to another, here goes. The airport is ENE of the city, and Longmont is about equidistant to the city, but directly north, so basically you are skirting around the city through fields. It took 45 minutes from the parking lot to the gas station, that is 200 yards from the rental return. So don't worry about gas until you get to the airport. The station will be on your left before you make the right turn toward the rental returns.
Okay. You don't need to read the next paragraph concerning the ride from Hertz.
Okay.
Just read the last sentence.
The last sentence of that paragraph, or just the last two
The
sentences?
last sentence, sir.
Okay. Have a great weekend and a great trip. I'll talk to you next week.
And again, the date of this particular email is July the 16th of 2010.
Yes.
please go to an email dated July 21st of 2010 at 9:12 in the evening. Okay. Is there, first off, an email from Lorraine Williams to Andrea Sneiderman concerning the results of some sort of test?
Yes.
Did Andrea Sneiderman on July 21st of 2010 at 9:12 in the evening send an email to Hemi Newman?
Yes.
And what was said in the email?
It just says yeah.
Yeah, it just says yay, right?
Yay.
Okay. And again, that is July 21st, 9:12 in the evening.
Right.
Okay. Look at July 30th, 2010 at 7:13 in the morning. Okay. First off, looking at 7:08, is there an email from Mr. Newman to Mrs. Sneiderman on that date?
Yes, there is.
What does the first sentence of that particular email say?
What are you doing on your computer at this time?
And was there a response from Mrs. Sneiderman to Mr. Newman at 7:13 a.m.?
Yes. It says, yes, okay, as I am updating, I am sort of organizing it that way. I should have it to you in a bit. I am determined to get some work done today, as well as take my GB exam, which is about 3 hours of material, just trying to get a head start on the day.
Please go to an email dated August 12th, 2010 at 5:28 in the afternoon, please, sir. Bates number 9967. Was there an email first from Paul Rogers to Hemi Newman on August 11th, 2010 at 9:42, subject Andrea?
Yes.
Okay. What does that say, sir?
Okay, it says, hey Hemi, Andrea is doing great. The key to her success this year is going to be to follow through. She needs to change our audits to be focused on our new processes and procedures and set up a strong strategy to get our QMS back up to the current with all the changes we implemented over the last year. Bottom line is my team respects her and she has done a great job coming up to speed. Now is the time to become super tangible. Overall, I am very pleased with her. Hope this helps. Paul.
Okay. And is there then an email shortly thereafter on August the 12th at 5:28 in the afternoon from Mr. Newman to Mrs. Sneiderman?
Yes.
And what does that say?
It says, just so you have his feedback, ...
Next exhibit, please.
Yeah, I'm trying to
I'm just gonna take
cut to the
it.
chase, Judge.
That's
So,
no problem.
okay.
Take that.
Go to the emails on August 24th, 2010 at 1:32 and 1:52 in the afternoon, sir. Bates number 10,135. Okay, first off, sir, is there an email from Andrea Sneiderman to Hemi Newman, subject Cambridge agenda at 1:32 on the 24th?
I think they have the wrong thing up.
Should be the lower email.
Can you make that a little larger?
No, let's see if it's the right page.
Is that the base number?
No. This
That's not
is
all.
page 10135.
Base number 1035.
Yes, 10,135.
You can pull that one up, please. And ladies and gentlemen, those numbers will correspond with those notebooks that are in front of you so that you can locate those pages if you deem appropriate. This is 10,000, I'm sorry.
Okay, is there, first off, looking at August 24th, 2010 at 1:32, an email from Mrs. Sneiderman to Mr. Newman about Cambridge agenda.
Yes.
What does that say, sir?
It says, Hemi, do you feel that you need to have the one-ones with the leadership? David seems to feel that you would get a lot out of that, but I'm not completely sure. I would think you could do these meetings on Thursday or Friday if you feel the need. Andrea.
Okay. And is there a response from Mr. Newman to Mrs. Sneiderman at 1:52, 20 minutes later?
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
And it says, probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have 30-minute meetings with the key folks. Thanks, Hemi.
Look, please go to September 29th, 2010 at, or actually September 28th, 2010 at 11:45 in the evening. Bates number 10934.
10934.
Okay. Is there, directing your attention to the email on the lower portion of the page, an email from Mr. Newman to Mrs. Sneiderman on September the 28th of 2010 at 11:45?
Yes.
Is the subject a meeting or not?
Yes.
Please read that, please, sir.
Okay. It was a great evening with Orna, truly a friend. Anyway, gave me good career advice, much in line with what you give me. She will give me a book tomorrow, something about being more loved at work. She thinks that with the senior management and my peers, I am very much admired, but not connected with. As for the personal issue, she was shocked, of course, but very understanding. She suggested that I do counseling first without ending it completely and irrevocably, if for no other reason to prove to myself and the kids that I tried everything. I'll call the doctor tomorrow and set up an appointment for myself, and then we'll see where that goes. I finally found out who Rush is. Okay, ... laugh, ... You are going to have a blast. Wish I could see it. ... Enjoy, 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 you wild, crazy person.
Okay. Did Mrs. Sneiderman respond to that on September the 29th at 9:17 a.m.?
Yes, she did.
And what was her response, sir?
It says, there is not much else to say than that. All good news.
Okay. Go to the emails on October the 3rd, 2010, starting at around 8:59 in the morning between Mr. Newman and Mrs. Sneiderman, Bates number 10,962. Okay. Look at the middle of the page, sir. Is there an email from Mr. Newman to Mrs. Sneiderman at 9:35 in the morning?
Yes.
And what does it say? What is the subject?
WebEx.
And what was said, sir?
It says, I thought you were going to be off Friday to be at the lake with your friends.
Did Mrs. Sneiderman respond?
She did, and it says, I am probably going to work from the lake. I cannot take the day off right now, and my friends are not coming until Saturday now. I will likely just work on and off that day and into the evening to catch up from being in training 2 days this week.
Okay. All right. Go to October 14th of 2010 at 8:32, please, sir. Bates number 003908.
003908.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Is there an email from Mrs. Sneiderman to Mr. Newman on October 13th, 2010 at 10:06 in the evening?
Yes.
What does it say, sir?
It says, the subject is final presentation. What do you think? Better? I think so, but I am open for more suggestions to implement tomorrow a.m. Andrea.
Was there a response on October 14th of 2010 from Hemi Newman?
It's being blocked. It says, yay. It says, yay, good work. I continue to be impressed, even if you were exhausted.
And does Mrs. Sneiderman respond 12 minutes later on that same day at 8:44?
Yes, she does. She says, "Are you sure? Is there nothing else to add?"
One moment, please, Chairman.
That's fine, take your time.
Yes, sir. Go to Bates number 11,185, dealing with an email sent on November 17th, 2010 at 9:06.
That was 11,185, sir?
Yes,
That's
okay.
all right.
Now, is that from Andrea Sneiderman to Hemi Newman on Wednesday, November 17th, 2010 at 9:06?
Yes.
And what is the subject, sir?
1-1 extension.
Okay, can you please read that email, please, sir?
Okay, it says, "Can you please extend our 1-1 on Tuesday to develop the communications plan, rollout strategy, etc. Thanks, Andrea."
Okay. Can you compute in your head, if the 17th is a Wednesday, when the next Tuesday would be?
It was a Tuesday, so, the 17th was a Wednesday, so 18, 19, 20, the 23rd.
Okay. All right, sir. Would you go to Bates number 11189, please? It is dated November 19th, 2010 at 1:36.
What was that Bates number again? What was the Bates number again, Mr. Clark?
11,189, Judge.
189, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Was there an email from Hemi Newman sent to a number of General Electric employees with a copy to Andrea Sneiderman at November 19th, 2010, sir, at 1:36?
They're
I
blocking.
said 133.
1:36 is the one on the top, actually.
Yeah, I was just reading what was on
Okay,
the
yes, sir.
screen.
Well, okay, we'll go with the 133 one first.
No, it's
Okay, that's fine, sir.
136 up now.
The 133 one. Is there an email to a number of folks in regards to the subject Andrea out on PB?
Yes, it's from
What does
Hemi.
it say, sir?
It says, "Andrea will be out for some time to take care of some personal issues. I'll let you know status and when she will return. Thank you for your understanding and support, Hemi."
Okay. Is there a second email sent out from Hemi Newman with a copy to a number of General Electric employees with a copy to Andrea Sneiderman at 1:36 on November 19th, 2010?
Yes.
What does it say, sir?
It says, "I regret to inform you that Andrea's husband, Rusty Russell, passed away yesterday morning in unfortunate circumstances. Our thoughts and prayers are with Andrea, her 2 children, and the entire family. Below are the details of the funeral. Funeral details Sunday, 11 o'clock, Arlington," and gives the address. "Tomorrow's obituary in the AJC will have details on any donations instead of sending flowers. I will provide details on any additional bereavement actions that the Sneidermans will have as I find out about them. Hemi."
Okay. Please go to Bates number 11,211, which concerns an email on November 22nd, 2010 at 11:35 in the morning. Okay. Is that an email from Hemi Newman to a number of General Electric employees with a copy to Andrea Sneiderman?
Yes.
Would you read the email, please, sir?
It says, "In the Jewish tradition, the family is holding the Shiva ritual in which the family sits, the meaning of the word Shiva, at the home and awaits for people to come pay their respects and hold prayers. The house is open throughout the day and evening, and anyone can go at any time. However, the family has requested that non-family or other visitors come in the early evening. I would like for a group of us to go tomorrow, Tuesday evening, around 5:30 to 6. Please let me know if you are interested. It would be very nice, and I know that Andrea and her family will be touched by us coming to pay our respects and be there for the evening prayers, though you are not obliged to stay for the prayers that will begin around 6:30. Her address is 4849 Mangat Court, Dunwoody, Georgia. If you can't make it tomorrow but would like to go, you can go on tonight, Wednesday, or Thursday evenings. Hemi.
Would you go, please, sir, to Bates number 11,233, an email sent on November 26, 2010 at 12:10 in the afternoon?
Yes.
Okay. And is that an email from Hemi Newman to Andrea Sneiderman?
Yes.
What is the subject, sir?
Time off.
Okay. Would you read the first two paragraphs of that particular email?
Andrea, again, so sorry for your loss and what you are going through. Anything we can do to alleviate, help in any way, please don't hesitate to let us know. Based on the information that I have below, that we have just talked about 10 days ago, we can do the following to allow you to take as much time off as you need, at least short term. Anytime you want to go to work from home or the office, please do. Not so much for us, although you are sorely missed, but for you, just let me know so that I can change the time accordingly.
Okay. And would you read the last sentence of that particular email, sir?
Our prayers and thoughts are with you, Sophia, Ian, and the entire family. Again, don't hesitate to contact me for anything.
Is it signed Hemi?
It's on Hemi.
Okay. Please go to Bates number 11,251, sir, starting at, I guess, November the 29th at 15:23, which I guess would be 3:23 in the afternoon. Okay. Is that an email from Hemi Newman to Andrea Newman, sir?
Yes.
And please read it in its entirety.
It says, Andrea, just keeping you in the loop, though you are sorely underlined missed, we understand you need your time. I need to connect with Lori on the time off to make sure we don't run into some silly rules. I'll let you know. Let me know if you'd like for me to stop copying you or anything else you'd like for me to do. Any way I can support, Hemi.
Did Andrea Sneiderman respond to that email on November 29th at 3:32 in the afternoon, sir?
Yes, she did.
What did she say,
And
sir?
it says, I cannot handle work emails right now. Maybe another day. Wish I could help, but I cannot. I do need to talk to Lori, I am sure.
Okay. Go to page Bates number, sir, 11253. Okay. Is there an email from Hemi Newman to Andrea Sneiderman on November 29th of 2010 at 3:44?
Yes.
What does it say, sir?
It says, I know, not asking for your help at all. Just stay focused on you, Sophia, and Ian. I'll keep the copy to a minimum. I'll talk to Lori. Call me if you need anything, Hemi.
Okay. And last, sir, would you go to Bates number 11,271, December 6th of 2010? Is that an email? Okay, sir.
All right, Kelly, we're back on the record. Go ahead.
I apologize, Your Honor.
Oh, no problem.
I need to mark two more emails.
Oh, you may. Mark as many as you wish.
I will mark the next one as Defendant's Exhibit Number 36.
36, yes, sir.
Sir, can you pull up at this time an email from Hemi Newman to Andrea Sneiderman on September the 13th, 2010, at 8 o'clock in the morning?
What's the base number?
I don't have a Bates number on this particular document.
Is that one? Is that one on the?
It is. The emails have been stipulated between
Right.
Mr. Newman and Mrs. Sneiderman.
Well, no, just in case the jury wanted to find the base number, that's all I was trying
I
to do.
don't have the Bates number on this.
That's fine. What the date is, what's the date again, Mr. Clegg?
The date is September 13th, 2010,
All right,
8 a.m.
that's fine. Can you pull that one up, please? September 13th, 2010.
Can you do that, sir? I'll just hand it to the witness if you can.
Yeah, put it on the screen.
Okay, may I approach?
You may, yes, sir.
No. Okay, Your Honor, may I approach with?
Yes, sir, you may.
Number 36. Is there an email from Mr. Newman to Mrs. Sneiderman at the time that I have just made reference to, sir?
Which time?
I'll have to take a look at the document. I'll take a look at it. Specifically at 8 a.m.
Yes.
Okay. And what does it say, sir?
It says, not really. Relly is going through the citizenship process, so we're outside in line in immigration. Then I need to take her to work, then take the car to the shop. Then I had another errand that I won't do, therefore free lunch. Then pick Relly up at 3:15. I have ideas for a better day. Glad to know here works out. Thanks, Hemi Newman, and his phone number.
Okay. And what was Andrea's response, or was there a response from Mrs. Sneiderman to that, sir?
Yeah, there was a response at 8:10 a.m., and she writes, that is great news on her citizenship. Good thing you were in line early. I did not know she got the job. That is also great news. What will she be doing?
Okay. And let me show you what has been marked for purposes of identification.
This is D37?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You may approach.
Approach again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir, I'm going to show you a document that has been marked as Defendant's Exhibit Number 37 and ask if there is an email from Mr. Newman to Mrs. Sneiderman at 8:43 in the morning.
Yes,
And what does that say, sir?
it says, I thought I told you she is an assistant teacher at Epstein. Thanks, Hemi Newman, and his phone number.
Okay. And does she respond shortly thereafter?
Yes, she replies at 9:02 a.m. and says, nope, I knew she was applying, just did not know it was official. That is great. What grade?
One or two last emails, sir. I'm going to ask Mr. Williams to direct us to Bates number 11,102.
11,102 Bates number. Yes, sir.
Okay. Was there an email from, first off, Andrea Sneiderman to, or first off, was there originally an email on November the 2nd at 5:36 from Hemi Newman to Andrea Sneiderman, the subject Gemini horoscope?
I guess I'll know shortly.
Can you see that, sir?
Not yet. Oh,
It's on the previous, it's a two-page document, so look at the bottom.
Yeah, okay, there's an email at 5:36 a.m., Gemini horoscope for Monday, November 1st.
And going to the next page, what is it that Mr. Newman conveyed or said to Mrs. Sneiderman at that time?
Interesting, this was your horoscope for yesterday, scatterbrained. You did good work, but yes, you were a bit all over the place, and I hope I was that grounded friend. You may not want to zero in on your work or to-do list today, but if you can make yourself do it, you'll enjoy a sense of calm. Otherwise, you're distracted and scatterbrained all day. It's hard to make a decision because there are lots of variables and your sharp mind catches them all. If a truly important matter comes up, ask a grounded friend for their perspective. Thanks, Hemi Newman.
Did Mrs. Sneiderman respond on November the 2nd at 8:53 in the morning? Going back to the previous page, please, sir.
Yes, she says, not sure what to say to this. Would you be surprised if I told you so? This is what is happening to me regularly now. You are the cause of this, so you may temporarily be the grounded friend, but the situation is what's causing it for me. Oh well.
Okay. And is there then a response from Mr. Newman to Mrs. Sneiderman on the same subject at November 2nd, 2010 at 12:57 in the afternoon?
Yes.
Could you read that for us, please?
Yes, sure. It says, I get how you are feeling. I really do understand. However, for someone not into drama, you are being very melodramatic, and rather than taking a deep breath and letting it pass you, you intensify the feelings and what goes on in your head. That's okay sometimes and certainly understandable, but at some point, you need to let the practical, non-drama Andrea take control.
Go ahead, sir.
You hold yourself to an incredible high standard. Great. And one thing I absolutely admire about you. However, you are performing incredibly. Give me an example of all those that know you who think otherwise. And remember that you are in a crazy situation right now. A new job that is at its peak of demand. 3 to 12 months into a new role are the most demanding. A family situation that would be incredibly demanding of even a non-working mom. The financial stress of you being the only breadwinner and being the investor in your husband's new business with all the demands on that. To make some additional money, taking on additional project. And yes, this additional incredible strain makes it really hard. Holy crap. You are always keeping even some of that together. You're awesome keeping even some of that together, let alone all of it. And you are, so cut yourself some slack and keep things in perspective.
Go ahead, sir. Next paragraph.
Yes, we, you and I, are the cause. I know you are angry and want to blame me, and it doesn't help that it is a we, not a you, but that is what it is, and we still have incredible communication and synergy, and we work great together. You want it to go away, but it doesn't in your head or in your current reality, so just don't make it overly dramatic, and it will be better.
Okay, and was there one last paragraph?
Yeah, I'm just waiting. 4, it's in the stars. I have no idea what you are talking about, and today is probably still crappy, but starting tomorrow you are going to be doing great. Hemi.
Okay, and one last email, sir.
That's fine. This is, we're going to, ladies and gentlemen, you've been going about an hour. With the assistance of Deputy Garrett, we're going to give you about a 10-minute stretch break, and then we will resume. All right? Thank you. 10 minutes, Deputy Garrett.
All rise.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jeff Hellinger, and I am joined this morning by B.J. Pak, who is a defense attorney, also a member of the Georgia House of Representatives, a district from District 108, and he has consented to be joining us all day today. We greatly appreciate it. We have